The UFC rankings are out, and Forrest Griffin is fresh off a workout. That was gross. You smell bad. I'm Matt Parrino.
I'm Forrest Griffin, and I don't approve any part of this message.
What a main event in Fight Night Portland. John Dodson loses to John Lineker. Looked great. Lineker moves up. Dodson also looked good. I mean, this was a close split decision here. What was first of all, your takeaways from this fight?
Again, it's hard to score those fights, and I know for a fact that you see things differently live that you don't see on TV. We even heard the announcer say, oh, he caught him, and he actually did catch him, but he caught Dodson in the shoulder at one point, and they talked about, oh, it's such a big punch. It wasn't. It was more of a slip. But, you know, it's a tough fight, and again, what I say to every fighter is, if you're going to leave it that close, you can't complain about a loss. So if either guy would have won it, the other guy would have been disappointed.
Let me throw some numbers at you. Dodson landed more strikes in round 1, 3, and 5. He outlanded for the fight 101 to 93. Lineker landed just 29% of his total strikes compared to 53% for Dodson.
But he advanced 100% of the time, and that's an actual statistic. Advancing 100%.
Mm-hmm. You are starting to smell really bad, by the way. I'm having a hard time concentrating.
Really?
Yeah. Not great. It might be the shirt. It's new, out of the box.
It smells like chemicals.
Okay, so let's focus in on the rankings. John Lineker moves up one spot. He takes number 2, while Rafael Assunção moves down to number 3. I'm going to ask you if you're okay with that, Forrest, but Dodson stays at number 10. I mean, this was a razor-close decision, like we said. Dodson might have been underrated going into this. Would you like to see him maybe a little bit higher?
I actually would like to see him higher than 10. We've seen that he can compete with the number 3 guy in the division with no problem. So, you know, it's so funny. This has become such an exciting division. You got Cody Garbrandt, or however you say his name, TJ Dillashaw. You have a lot of guys all of a sudden in a division that was very thin. It used to be like Uriah and Cruz and maybe Renan Barão, and now there's like 10 decent guys.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of thin, let's go down to 125 pounds. We had a huge upset, 5-1 favorite, Louis Smolka, who's been on fire. He's won his last 4 fights. He's been looking great. Brandon Moreno comes in off the Ultimate Fighter Season 24 and beats him, submits him. The first guy to ever do it. Does it in the first round. I mean, you texted me right away on Sunday and said, I want to talk about this fight.
So Brandon Moreno immediately came out, took the center of the octagon, threw big punches. Louis Smolka always starts fights slow. I don't know if Moreno saw that or if he's just an aggressive fighter, but I look forward to finding out more about him. He fought great. The guillotine was great. When you see the hand up like that over the shoulder, that's bad. That's bad news for the guy whose neck's getting choked.
So before the rankings come out every week, I try to take a look at it and see where
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Whoa, that scared the shit out of me. So I take a look at it, see where a guy's going to move. I tab Moreno at number 9, taking Smolka's position, because that's what Forrest likes. If you beat a guy, you should get his spot. But let's take a closer look here. He is on a 9-fight win streak, but would you have liked to see him higher? I mean, he debuts at number 15 on the rankings, while Smolka with a 4-spot drop.
This is like Highlander. If you beat a guy, you should take his soul and his power, or at least his place in the ranking.
UFC 204 this weekend. Michael Bisping, Dan Henderson for the middleweight title. Bitter rivals. They're going to collide once again. I mean, you guys remember it. Remember Dan Henderson, UFC 100?
They coached the show against each other. It was actually a good season. They genuinely do not like each other.
Let's start off with the matchup itself, because there's kind of 2 sides of the fence here. People that love it, people that hate it. I mean, you got Dan Henderson ranked at number 13, kind of surpassing a bunch of people here in the rankings. But he's getting that title shot because it's a good fight, and they have unfinished business. Do you like it?
I don't hate it because I like the guys. Usually, I would hate a guy not in the top 5 getting a title shot, but you know, extenuating circumstance with these guys, the rivalry, the fact that they've coached this show against each other, the fact that Bisping's slick as coming out of a seal, duck I don't know, whatever slick is. He's slick, and he called this fight out, and he said, hey, look, I want to fight a 45-year-old. Smart man, because he's like 38. I think recently Bisping, as old as he is, has found a rhythm. He's found a way that he can win fights. He's beaten people consecutively that you did not think he would beat. You know, going back to Thales Leites, I didn't think he was going to beat Thales Leites. I didn't think he was going to beat Anderson. I didn't think he was going to beat Luke Rockhold. He beat all these guys, He looked good doing it. He's looked really good as of late. He's found his rhythm. Hopefully he can keep that up for him for one more fight.
All right, we're going to take a quick look at the rest of this card. 2 spotlight fights. Forrest is going to go first. What are you looking at? What do you think is a big fight on this card?
I always look at 205ers. You can maybe guess why, and if you can't, well, just Google it. OSP, who I really like, against Jimmy Manuwa. OSP, long, athletic. I don't know how the time change to Manchester will affect him, and I don't know how that'll affect his weight cut. He is a large human being. But if he can successfully navigate that weight cut, he's going to be the bigger, stronger, more athletic, longer, definitely quicker and longer than Jimmy Manuwa. Jimmy Manuwa, I think he really just relies on that power. So I think, you know, with the reach of OSP versus the power of Jimmy Manuwa, I got to go reach of OSP and look for the left leg kick.
That's on the main card, but we are heading to UFC Fight Pass, the featured bout between Mike Perry and Danny Roberts. It's a great one. 2 slick strikers. These guys are going to go back and forth. This is the perfect fight on UFC Fight Pass. Get your 7-day free trial. Check it out.
No relation to Katy Perry, by the way. No relation.
As always, go to UFC.com for the complete rankings. And hey, let me ask you a question before we get out of here. What do you think of my beard?
I still don't approve this message. But the beard actually looks good.
Do you think it does? Because people said I shouldn't go with the neckline because the double chin is kind of like...
No, see, I see this a lot at the Waffle Houses in Georgia that I attend. What you've done and what fat guys do is they carve a neckline in. You have to carve yourself a neckline in. See, I don't do that. I actually carve in, as you can see, where my neck hair starts to grow straight into my chest hair, so I try to make a little separation there. But you're a fatty now, so you've given yourself a chin. I like that. I think that was the best part of the segment too, probably.